Whether it's to beat the traffic, get exercise, or save on gas, there's all kinds of reasons to buy an e-scooter. This is one of the newest on the market, made by one of the most familiar names in mobile transport. Let's check out the Segway Ninebot F3 Pro e-Kick scooter.
What's it like to ride? Is it comfortable, fast? How long does the battery last? And what makes it worth the price? I'll tackle all of these questions and a few more in my hands-on review. I would like to say thank you to Segway for sending me the F3 Pro scooter at no cost. While the company did supply a unit for me to test, it didn't ask for and wasn't given permission to have any input into this video, so these thoughts are all my own.
The scooter is pretty easy to set up and get started with, and it arrives mostly assembled. Just attach the handlebars and use the Segway Mobility app to activate your scooter. The Mobility app gives you full wireless access using Bluetooth to check the scooter's battery status or even lock it. The app allows another neat trick, Apple's Find My support in case it gets stolen. You can also connect to your phone for directions and navigation right on the scooter's screen.
There are a few big things that will likely have you considering the F3: the power and the battery range, the app connectivity and tracking, and the light-ish weight. But there are actually quite a few improvements in the F3 Pro over some other Segway models. Now, since this is my first scooter and my first Segway product, I can't compare firsthand, but I will tally up some of the changes.
The Ninebot F3 Pro has a power rating of about 550 watts, which is about 100 watts more than the basic F3, and it can give you up to 1200 watts of max power. Now, max power is the scooter's short-term peak performance, and it's one of those things you may not realize you need until you do, and it defines the scooter's top acceleration and maximum slope climbing abilities. Speaking of which, the F3 Pro's max speed tops out at about 20 miles per hour or 32 kilometers per hour, and you get this in sport mode. It can also climb steeper slopes than some lesser models. It'll haul you up a slope up to 24% compared to about 20% on the Segway F3. We definitely used that slope climbing on several pedestrian bridges and ramps as well as hills, and found the F3 Pro didn't seem to struggle unless the hill was quite steep, but it did appear to impact battery life.
Let's talk about the weight. While on the surface, the weight doesn't factor heavily into play while you're riding it, it does if you ever need to carry or transport the scooter, like on transit.
The new F3 Pro is about 23% lighter than some other older Segway models at about 41 pounds or 18.6 kilos. Moving it is easier thanks to the fact the handlebars fold down and there's a carrying handle, which allows you to kind of drag it like a suitcase through an airport. The other convenient option, which helps it feel lighter, is a powered walk mode, which engages the motor on low speed and means it kind of walks itself beside you while you hold it up.
Range is likely to be a big factor if you want to commute, and whether or not you think this one is good and has a good range will totally depend on how far you want to scoot it on the regular.
The base range is 43.5 miles or 70 kilometers, and if that isn't enough for those extended trips, or you might want to use the faster sport mode more often, you can purchase an extra battery pack.
This is my first scooter, so not only am I learning about the Segway brand, I'm also learning about the mechanics of riding a scooter, because believe it or not, I've never been on one before.
Husband Roger, on the other hand, is a huge fan of scooters and has used them in his daily commute. While I brought the newbie perspective, he brought the experience. We both used it for commuting to co-working spaces and for exploring the parks and pathways on the weekends.
I found that the stated max battery range of about 43.5 miles or 70 kilometers is actually a bit lower once you get to use it in real life conditions. Tackling hills, going fast, even your own weight, and carrying a heavy backpack can all impact how much mileage you're going to get.
For us, we maxed out our daily range at about 14 kilometers per day and mainly using the faster sport mode. Roger took it to the office and back, which on a single trip in sport mode depleted about half the battery. Given that he wasn't comfortable taking it out again the next day without charging it fully. Of course, you can use eco mode to save on battery, but it's only going to putter along at what feels like a childishly slow speed. Recharging time to full is an agonizingly long 8 hours, which means you absolutely need to plan your routes and your usage or potentially get caught without power. In terms of other features, the Segway F3 Pro has an IPX6 rating for enhanced water resistance and a bright 6-watt headlight. It also has the same 10-inch tubeless self-sealing tires you'll find in other Segway 9BOT models.
The F3 Pro also incorporates Segway's AirLock system, which uses a proximity sensor for you to automatically unlock your scooter if your smartphone is within a certain distance, which you can customize.
Both Roger and I found the scooter really easy to ride and smooth, both to accelerate and while cruising. The controls are all in intuitive locations, meaning you can focus on where you're going instead of fussing with adjustments. The size is good for handling and maneuvering, and it feels stable, and even its top speed feels fast enough. The scooter has both front and rear suspension for a comfortable ride. When it comes to alternative terrain, I did notice that bigger bumps on the pathways were definitely a big jolt, but that's the difference between riding a scooter and a bigger wheeled ride like a bike. Gravel was definitely scary and unsteady, while off-roading on grass was possible, but definitely felt like jogging in the shallow end of a pool. It's clear this scooter is made for asphalt and no points deducted for that. Tempt the terrain and your battery life is going to pay the price. The Segway F3 Pro has a rear electronic disc brake, and braking the scooter is similar to using a bike. I found it smooth and not grabby. The 2.4-inch color display looks good, and it's fairly bright, and it'll show you all sorts of real-time statistics, including your current speed, battery life, trip distance, and more.
Overall, I've really been enjoying the Segway 9BOT F3 Pro scooter, and husband Roger has been a huge fan too. Let's cover both the pros and the cons of this e-kick scooter so you can see if it might be right for you.
On the pro side, the Segway 9BOT F3 Pro is easy to set up and pairs to your phone for tracking and updates. It's got enough power for short to medium distance urban commuters, and it manages hills well. It's easy to carry if you've got to, and it folds really small for storage. So what are the potential downsides? If you do get caught out with a dead battery, kicking your scooter home feels like more work than pedaling a carbon fiber e-bike home. That high riding platform means you've got to work harder, so bear that in mind. And in our tests, we found that real-world conditions like hills do bite into the battery life significantly, as does using sport mode, and that reduces the safe maximum distance. It also takes all day to fully recharge.
In short, this has been a really fun vehicle for us, and it's nice to have an alternative form of transportation that's a lot more compact than an e-bike. While it is my first scooter and I don't have a lot of experience to compare it against competitors, husband Roger and I really enjoyed our experience and can definitely recommend the Segway 9BOT F3 Pro e-kick scooter for you. It sells for about $11.99 Canadian or on sale for closer to $7.99, and it's available in Canada at Best Buy or in the USA also at Best Buy. And if you're exploring rechargeable transportation, I've been reviewing a lot of e-bikes. Check out some of those reviews or see what I found out about Segway's surprising robot lawnmower right now.